first in this new year, 2023. For many in the crypto world, they call it the crypto winter. Not for us, fortunately. For us, it's still summer. We had a really good last year, 2022, the best in our history. So I'm really happy that today I can show you some very good numbers and a good outlook for the next year. So in last year, as I said, we had our best year in history and we have collected more awards. So we were selected amongst the five best cryptocurrencies companies to watch in 2022. And also our recruiting platform, Wellfound, previously known as AngelList, has selected us amongst the top 10 startups in blockchain. So yoo-hoo, let's celebrate this. So our list is getting longer and I hope we'll add some more in the next year. Yeah, we believe that transparency creates trust. And for that reason, we have our transparency policy, which obligates us to produce our regular reports and share all the information about our reserve and all our performance indicators publicly, so everyone knows how we're doing and what we're doing. And this is especially important as we've seen a lot of intransparency in the crypto world recently, a lot of fraud and schemes. And we believe that by providing transparency and by making all these reports public, we can create more trust. Trust is the most important asset for a cryptocurrency. So this is our financial report. Just quickly, the agenda for the day, the first half hour, I'm going to talk about our numbers, about the financial report, which has been published about a week ago. And then afterwards, you can ask questions, and we have a half an hour questions and answer sessions where we invite people to join and ask any questions they might have. This is our dashboard, the most important numbers of our cryptocurrency put together on a single slide. In the last quarter, we had an increase in the Neco price by almost 8% to 82 cents per Neco token. Our price potential is currently at over €1.30. So it's a potential of an upwards potential of over 60%. And on the right-hand side, you see our price over the last few years. So you probably know the chart already. It has our growth has expedited. It got faster and faster. So this is what we're expecting in 2023. Again, we're expecting more growth. Annual earnings, really amazing, 58% over the last year. This is especially interesting as the rest of the crypto world had pretty much the opposite. So over 50% was lost. So this was a good sign for the stability of our system and our reserve. And I was really, really happy that our community trusted in it. There was no panic, even though there were 2 crashes. No one panicked. No one was worried about the money. So thank you for that trust. We're expecting annual earnings to go up again with this quarter, as we expected another increase. Our reserve rate is currently at 16%. For those of you who are new to Neco, we have a minimum reserve rate of 10%. And the price can go up only if the reserve rate is above 12%. So usually everything above 15% is very good. And between 15 and 20% of reserve rate is a very good area and a very stable, stable section. The reserve rate is the ratio between the Neco money supply, so the amount of or the value of all our Neco tokens in circulation, divided by the money, the value of the reserve, which means all our bank accounts, all our fiat assets combined. Yeah, the other thing you see on our lower right-hand side, our triple bottom line, this is how we measure impact. Impact measured by, we call it the triple P concept, people, planet, profit. So how much do we give to the people? That's universal basic income. How much do we give to the planet for carbon offset? And how much do we generate in profit for our token holders? And the last 2 values here, the UBI allowance, currently at 1,000 Neco per month. That's the maximum for people at Karma level 10. If you're a beginner, you start at Karma level 1, so you'll have a 1/10 of it, which is a 100 Neco per month. Maximum carbon offset, so this is the amount of carbon we want to offset per quarter. That's almost 2,000 tons. That's far more than actually our entire community's emissions are. Our community is currently around 500 members, so the emissions are much less than what we have here. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to offset everything because we're still in prototyping phase. We still work with only one partner, and the capacities are limited, so our actual offset is less. But this is the budget that we already have available for carbon offset every quarter. Yeah, and this is our performance compared to the market, to other currencies, to gold, and to the crypto world. And this is where you really see the difference. Last year was amazing because we have, 2021 was a good year for crypto. Everything went up. We had a bull year, but then 2022, the crashes came. Not surprisingly, as many cryptocurrencies were just way overvalued. And this is where things have changed now dramatically. Our profitability of 58% is leading by far compared to all other major cryptocurrencies. So Binance is probably one of the best last year with minus 49%, Bitcoin minus 62% over the last 12 months. Yeah, and some have even lost more. So a very good profitability. That's something that has also a bit surprised me, because profitability is not our core goal. We are targeting a positive triple bottom line, not just maximum profitability, but we still outperformed the market by far. The other part that is really important for a currency is stability. So if a currency is volatile, going up and down, like many cryptocurrencies out there, it doesn't really suffice as a proper currency. Too much volatility is not good for currencies in general. So we are targeting a monthly average volatility of less than 5%. And we're doing pretty well. We have over 4% right now. That's more stable than gold, almost as stable as the euro. And if you look at the crypto world, it starts with Bitcoin. It almost has 30% monthly volatility. That's the average change on a monthly basis between the max and the lowest value of a cryptocurrency within a month. And last but not least, security. We measure the maximum loss you could have had since 2020. Neco still loss-free. We have never lost value. That makes us really unique. And compared to the euro, that has lost a lot last year. It was a very bad year for euro. A lot of inflation also happening in the world. Plus the crashes in the crypto world, which have sent most coins down. As you see, Bitcoin minus 74% is the maximum loss you could have had the last 2 years. Yeah, market cap, things are different on that side. We've reached the $3 million market cap. Great news. We still have a lot to go, but obviously we're not public yet. So this is our market potential as I see it. This is where we can go, and this shows how much we can grow if you compare us to these other cryptocurrencies out there. So this is what I consider our market potential. Token performance. So this is our chart from the last year. You've probably seen it. Neco, as you know, we change our price only once per quarter, and the price is changed by a collective referendum through Collexa. So all our members can collectively decide how much to increase the price. Obviously, the limitation is always the reserve rate. So we have to have at least 10% in the reserve and at least 12% so we can increase the price. Another important indicator that is really worth mentioning is the price potential. So the price potential is the maximum price of the Neco token at the minimum reserve rate of 10%. So right now, the price potential is €1.31. This is the price that our token could have if we would take out the maximum profit. At that price, we would come out with a reserve rate of 10%. So we never realized this price because, Collexa decides usually to leave some reserves. We're not maxing out on profit. And that is why the actual price is much lower than the price potential, which makes Neco a very interesting currency because it's always undervalued. Yeah, as an investor, you're looking for tokens that are undervalued. You're not looking for tokens that are overvalued. Overvalued, for example, last year, most of the cryptocurrencies. So they crashed because they were overvalued. And then there was a correction. So this is something we're trying to avoid. Also, if you look at the price potential over the last 3 years, you see there's 2 periods where we had a decrease in the price potential. So the price potential actually went down. Yet the price in these periods still went up because there was a buffer, right? So this is a very important piece. Neco is very predictable and very stable because it's always undervalued. And it's a very smart thing about Collexa, that she constantly undervalues the price and is very conservative. Like, for example, in the last regulation in the fourth quarter, we had a very conservative vote. So Collexa decided to put more in the reserve and keep the price lower. And that was a very good sign for me too. One of our core values is sufficiency. Sufficiency means enough, but not too much, right? So, and we were about to break through the 50% annual profit margin, which meant a lot of profit. And at that point of time, I think Collexa realized that it is a lot of profit already. We should keep the profit a little lower and reduce the price, not reduce the price, but not increase the price too much. So this is another good sign that collectively, and we are aligned in our values, and even sufficiency, which is a value that not many companies have, is implemented in our organization through Collexa. So the performance, the increase of the Neco price requires the reserve to increase. So this is the chart on the lower right-hand side, where you see the absolute numbers, the reserve increasing. Now the reserve is over 400,000 euros at a reserve rate about 16%. And as I said before, what we are looking for is a constant increase in reserve and a reserve rate in the range of 15 to 20%. That's ideal. So we're in a really good space right now. And over the last year, it has stabilized. So we also see that it's becoming more and more stable, the reserve rate, more and more predictable. This is exactly what we'd like to see. So looks really good. And now here's a good comparison between Neco over the last 3 years and other currencies, euros, gold, and the 3 major cryptocurrencies. And what you see here is, our chart is fundamentally different. It's much more predictable, much more stable, and so far we didn't have any period of loss. So these charts, these bars, they're called candlestick charts. They're used by a lot of traders in the trading space because they really show the movement of a currency within a month. So the peaks, the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, and they give you a lot more information than just the normal price chart of a currency. We see on the euro side, we had huge losses over the last 1.5, almost 2 years. It has lost a lot of value compared to the dollar. And in the last quarter, it even fell under the $1 mark. Now it has recovered. And this is important to know because our reserve is made up from euros, dollars, and pounds. So what happens when the euro drops in value? That would also devalue our reserve. But we always have the option to change into other cryptocurrencies, or cryptocurrencies, into other fiat currencies. So what we did to counterbalance this effect is we moved a lot of euro into US dollars. And because dollar increased in value compared to the euro, we actually had an increase in our reserve. So the weakness of the euro didn't affect us. To the opposite, we had an increase of the reserve due to that. So this is another cool feature of our reserve. It provides stability even if one cryptocurrency or one fiat currency crashes. We can simply switch to other assets, to other fiat currencies, in the future maybe also other cryptocurrencies. This is a question I've heard many, many times. What happens if the euro crashes? We simply move into other currencies. Gold price, you also see there's periods of ups and downs. Recently, it has lost some value. So, it's not as stable as Neco. And when you look at the 3 charts from the crypto world, what you see is a very similar curve for all these 3 cryptocurrencies. And this is not just those 3. Even if you look at all the others, you will find very similar charts. So they follow the market. And it is a market where the market leader, Bitcoin, which currently dominates the market with over 40% of market share, really determines what where the market goes. So regardless of what these other cryptocurrencies are doing, they're usually following, their chart follows the market. And that is the issue that they're having. Their prices are determined on the exchanges. And what determines the price? The market, people buying and selling, and also the market craziness, the fears and the doubts that are happening. And this is the reason why we are not affected by the market, because our currency, the price of the Neco, is determined by collective intelligence, not directly by the market. That's why we are decoupled, and that's why these crashes and market fluctuation, market turbulences have not hit us. Okay. Yeah, company performance. These are charts that show same trend. Things are growing, revenue, triple bottom line, our company budgets, that's the money we have available to run our business. Money supply has increased, so we now breached the 3 million Neco token mark. Our members are slowly increasing. We're trying to slow it down because our limit is 500 active members. We're currently at 400 something active members. The numbers you see here are all members in total, so everyone who is registered, that includes the inactive members. Because we're still in prototype, we want to fly low, want to fly under the radar, are still in stealth mode. And until we go public, you're not really looking to increase the number of members in the next few months. And yeah, our market cap has increased as well. That's a good sign. In general, the numbers are really looking good. The community happiness index is one of our main success factors. It is measured in a yearly and an annual survey. We measure happiness by these 9 domains, from well-being, health, living standards, time use, governance, and environment. We had an increase to 67% on average. The best domain is well-being, where most people are feeling really happy. Health as well is doing well. Challenges are governance and environment, where people are most unhappy. So this is also where we want to focus on. Our carbon offset program targets the main topic, the fear of climate change that's happening. And with Collexa, we are working on a system that provides collective global governance and allows tools to make smart and collectively intelligent decisions. So this is pretty much it about our quarterly report. And after the report has been published, we start the quarterly referendum. So this is the collective referendum where we collectively decide how much we increase the price, what we do with the universal basic income rates, how much carbon offset we want to have in the next quarter. And these are the 5 options that are currently available. The referendum is open until January 14th. So guys, please participate. It really helps us if you get more people to vote. The more people that participate, the higher usually the collective intelligence of the decision. For collective intelligence, for collectively intelligent decision, usually 20 people are enough. In most of our referendums, we have around 50 participants, so 10% of our community, which is definitely sufficient to make good decisions. And so far, I'm really happy about the intelligence of our community. The decisions have been really smart. So I'm looking forward to another smart decision. These 4 options, last time people asked, how are these calculated? So the first one is Collexa. Collexa is simply based on the average distribution of our funds for people, planet, profit, and reserve over the last 12 months. So these are the average decisions, the collective average. And based on this baseline option, we calculate other options that are more focused on people, so more universal basic income, that provide more carbon offset or more profit, as you see down here. And last but not least, more in the reserve. So you see these bars, they show how much of our kind of surplus will be used for people, planet, profit, and reserve. And in the Collexa referendum, we asked you to rate each of these 5 options, give a rating from 0 to 5, the one you like the most, rate with 5, the least with 0, and the collective average wins. So one of these options will be effective on January 15th. So whatever is selected, let's say it's Collexa, then starting January 15th, the price will be 88 cents, and our universal basic income allowance will be 1,000 Neco, and our target carbon offset will be over 4,000 tons. All right. Good. Yeah, last but not least, roadmap. In our last conference, I've already given a bit of an update on the roadmap. We have made some progress with our funding status. We've reached 40% of our funding goal for this phase, the build phase that we're currently in. In our last conference, I have communicated that we changed our target date for the ICO to 2023. The reason being is that there's still a lot of uncertainty regarding the legal setup, which country, tax situation, but things have improved recently. So there is a very good chance that the European Union is passing a new regulation for crypto, which will make things a lot easier for us. Then we only have to apply for one license, and that can be used in all European countries. And we believe this will also be kind of a future standard in the world. Other countries will follow. So we are looking forward to getting our crypto license using the new standard. There's also been this question, in which country will we open our headquarters? Recently, I've been to a blockchain event in Berlin where I met a few people who were very knowledgeable about the setup of a DAO. DAO means decentralized autonomous organization. So a organization that doesn't have a central power, no CIO, but is decentralized. And they also recommend to set up a DAO across multiple legal entities. So we're looking at probably 4 legal entities in 3 different countries, just as the basic setup. So this, as you can imagine, is still a lot of effort, especially when it comes to legal stuff. It usually takes a while. Governments and lawyers are not the fastest usually. So that's why 2023 is still an ambitious goal. It might also move to 2024. Nevertheless, meanwhile, we're going to continue working with our prototype. Everything works. People can use the basic features that are available. Most important for us is when we go live, we want to have everything stable, tested, and secure. We're not going to rush into an ICO when things aren't ready. Yes. And if you guys are still interested in investing in a sustainable future, I guess you are. As I said before, the price will go up on the 15th of January. So if you want to buy more Neco tokens, you still have, let me say, 2 days to go, 48 hours until the price goes up. So a good chance to buy some more Neco tokens. These are the sustainable development goals that we are supporting. 12 out of 17. I think that's a very good ratio. And every euro of investment helps us to move forward, to fund our activities, and to start working on these goals. Okay, and before we go into the what else discussion, I would like to give you guys a chance to ask questions. I will stop sharing and allow people to unmute themselves. Oh, you should already be. Okay, people should already be able to unmute themselves. If you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask, and I'm gonna try to answer them.
Yes, I have a question.
Please, around the report so far.
Yes, you mentioned how are the 5 options calculated?
Yes.
You have shown that the first one is an average over the last decade.
Yes.
The second and third is the second is focused on the topic. Maybe I don't know what was the second. Maybe
People, planet, profit, reserve.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Easier.
Was people, but
Yeah.
does it mean that average only people goes up and the others are stable, or are the other three reduced in the same amount, or is it up to you how you distribute it?
Yeah, that's a good question. And let me just share my screen again, because it was already on one of the boards. Here we go. Yeah. So you see, this is the collective average. Collective average, for example, planet is at 11%. So when we look at the option for people, then planet has gone down to 10%, people has gone up. All the others have usually gone down a little bit. When we look at planet has increased, all the others have gone. So it's usually we increase one and lower the other. And we do a complete simulation. You know, it's important to understand.
I think this is not true. This is not true for people, because a profit went up a little bit. Planet went down a little bit.
Reserve
people went up. So this was a bit confusing for me. That is the reason for the question.
Yeah, so there is one reason. Profit also helps people in a way. So it's this is the exception where we had an increase in profit. It simply was that by lowering the reserve, we could also have a different price. You know, so we also with each options we want to provide different prices. So you can select just price here: 88 cents, 89, 87, 86, 91. So if we had profit on a lower level, we would have also ended up with 87. So we want to provide a lot of diversity in our options. That's why sometimes, like in here, we also
understood
profit. And profit again helps people the same way that increase in universal basic income helps. Very good question.
And you mentioned that it is best to stay in a range for the reserve between 15 and 20. So there are only two options where we can make this happen. True?
No. I mean, all options have at least 14 point something percent, which rounded is around 15. Yeah. And the thing is, you know, we have already received, these are the numbers from the 31st of December. Our reserve has already increased by another, 1% minimum due to people investments arriving late. As you know, banks usually take some time, especially around the calendar year change. So for some banks, it took 4 days to transfer the money. So it arrived on the 2nd of January. So the reserve rate currently is much higher, is already at least 1% higher than in these calculations. So I think at the end, all of these options will have a reserve rate above 15%.
Another question I have, I'm in talks with the IFN. It's a German name for Internationales Forum der Nachhaltigkeit, International Forum on Sustainability.
Yeah.
And it is a member-only community. Members are growing. I guess they have 8,000 at the moment, and we're talking about being an ambassador for them. Do you think it makes sense to be a member of such a community? Because I think there are people who have money and people who are have at least an invite by one other member.
So I'm not sure I fully understand your question. You said Do you think it makes sense to be a member? You being
No, Neco being a member to be to have some visibility there, because we could probably increase the number of members a little bit by people who can pay a bit more than maybe 10,000. But I guess it's not allowed to pay more than 25,000. Is that right?
No, we have no limits on that. The thing is, right now we're still in a bit of a stealth mode. We're not doing too much marketing. We also have to be careful. The laws prohibit us from doing public marketing and selling our token publicly. So if we target a huge crowd and then we have lots of people signing up, it doesn't really happen. What I'm looking for is impact investors who invest larger amounts rather than many small ones. But if you if you know impact investors who have values that match ours and want to invest at least, I would say, a 6-digit figure, then yes, that's exactly what we're looking for. Okay.
Well,
good. Any other questions in the community?
Yes, hello, Flo. It's Magic here. Yes, hey, nice to see you.
It's been a while.
Thank you much for your beautiful support last time to help me out with your ideas, and I really appreciate this. All went good. I have a questions about UBI. Is it the place now, or you want to?
It's actually, I have a slide on that. So maybe go ahead, ask your question, because this is a topic on my next slide.
Okay, so the first of all, is it impacting the community or a profit when when I will pay with UBI and someone will gonna change it into fiat currency?
Yes, that's a very good question. And yes, so the UBI system is designed as a system where we pay in UBI and UBI recipients can only pay others in UBI. Then obviously the recipient then can convert it into fiat. When that happens, so whenever Neco tokens are converted into fiat, that means the reserve loses fiat. Because all the exchange happens to our reserve, which means our reserve goes down, the reserve rate goes down, which means our triple bottom line decreases. So we have less for the people, less for the planet, and less profit in the future. So it's normal, so it's nothing to worry about, but the best option is that if people hold their tokens and not sell them. So this is, and UBI was especially a critical part. That's why we had to introduce a lot of rules, and I'm going to talk about this in a second, actually, to make sure that we don't have what we call UBI leaking. So UBI is used and then through various ways, paying indirect, paying friends, and so on, to then convert it back into fiat, because that means reserve money from our investors is taking out of the reserve, and it reduces our reserve rate, and in the next quarters will also reduce the amount of universal basic income we can provide. So when you invite people to Neco, as you've done, and use your UBI to pay, the best thing is to tell them to keep them as long as possible. It's also the best for them, because Neco increases over time. So the longer they hold these tokens, the more profit they will make.
So in this case, does it make sense to show another key figure about the amount of all universal basic income that are out compared to the reserve? So it is some kind of a risk measure.
Yeah, you already can see this. The triple bottom line that we publish contains this segment people, the orange part in the triple bottom line, and that is the total amount of universal basic income that has been paid. So, and these details are also published in the in our report. And a very good question. So I'm gonna quickly.
Another question.
Hold on. Let me quickly finish this.
If I want to buy something with UBI, that's a simple question.
Okay.
If I want to buy something with UBI, I need to know what others have to offer.
No. So, right now, I get this question quite often. We are currently a small community, most of them individuals. We haven't put on companies yet for a reason. So if you want, and people ask me, where can I pay? It's like, that's not the question. There's not many places where you can pay. It's your responsibility to invite people that you want to pay, right? So Neco provides you with universal basic income. It's unconditional, it's for free. You have to do nothing for it. The only thing you have to do is to get people to accept it. And that is your job. Because we don't want to spend these marketing dollars trying to find the friend that you, or whatever service you want to have. You are part of our marketing concept. Our viral strategy depends on our community convincing others. It's also the most effective way, because if we do marketing, of course, or every company does good marketing. But if it's recommended by a user to someone, then it sticks much more. It creates much more trust. And it's much cheaper for us. We need less marketing dollars, means less expenses, means more profit, people, planet. Yeah, it's a really core idea of our project is through universal basic income, through this system, we also want to expand our currency in future.
But if we have startups, for example, who are in an investment readiness stage, I could accept UBI as a payment method, as for a success fee, for example, if I may have a contract with them.
No, UBI cannot be used by companies. It's only for individuals. You can pay as an individual, you can see it, you can pay others,
okay,
but
the CEO
businesses cannot receive UBI.
Okay.
But that's now a good point to start with the next slide on my screen, which was about UBI and the changes here. So here we go. So we introduced new UBI rules. Reason being that we had a lot of cases of UBI leaking, where there were invalid transactions, fake transactions, and a lot of other things going on, which was against rules. Also, some of the rules were not clear, and I admit that. So we updated the rules. We made them much clearer now, easier to understand. We learned some of the lessons. And for everyone who receives UBI, I kindly ask you to follow these rules. We are providing universal basic income to you. There's not a lot of companies that do that. This is generosity. And in return, we expect you to comply with our rules. Simply, otherwise, it would harm the community. And these, especially the few things that are worth mentioning, is no indirect payments. So what does that mean? So if you want to use your UBI to pay, you have to pay the recipient or the provider of the goods and services you bought. You cannot pay your friend who then, pays for the yoga class in fiat, because that essentially is a conversion from Neco to fiat, reducing the reserve and, reducing the reserve rate and destabilizing our system. Then you can no longer use UBI to pay loans or other financial assets. Same thing, for example, we had people that had loans and wanted to use Neco to pay, and initially actually said, it's fine, but then you start to realize, and it's another form of conversion of Neco to fiat. So you get a loan, you get fiat money from someone, and in return, you pay that person in Neco. So it's a way of exchanging Neco to fiat. And the rule that has always been in place is UBI is non-convertible. You cannot convert any Neco tokens on your UBI account into fiat. Very important. So these are the rules. They're written down in our UBI agreement. And when you submit a transfer request using your UBI, all these agreements are linked, and you have to check mark that you have understood these rules. So we made it sure that it's clear and it's understandable. We're not trying to bother people, but we just want to make sure that people understand the rules, because breaking the rules has consequences. We have banned quite a couple of people recently from the UBI program. They will probably get another chance in a year or two when we go public. But for now, they have lost their UBI. We have locked their accounts. So this is, breaking UBI rules is a serious offense for us, and we are very determined to, to show consequences. Right. Any questions regarding UBI? I think that's still a hot topic. Okay. No problem.
I do have a question, one more.
Yes.
About the UBI. I found after 3 years, I didn't have a place to live, like I was traveling, and now I found a place to rent. And can I pay the rent? The man agreed to receive the UBI.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And of course,
that's exactly what UBI is for. So
this is
universal basic income is there to support you to have the basic needs met, and it means food, shelter, clothing. Food is still a problem because supermarkets don't accept it, but rent is a good example. And look at me, so I don't receive UBI, but I use Neco to pay rent everywhere for our companies, wherever I live. Right now, I'm here in Thailand, and I pay my rent in Neco. And all it takes is me to ask, whoever the landlord, if it's okay to pay in Neco. And they usually ask, what is Neco? And then explain it. For you guys, I recommend you just send them the video link that has me explaining Neco to them. And then once they sign up and they accept, you can pay them in UBI. So that's a great way to help with your income. Yeah.
But I think in the reality, it is too early now.
No, it's not. As I said, I've been doing this for the last 2 years, and all our companies pay them. So it is I know a lot of people who do the same. So my ex-partner, she paid her rent in Germany with UBI. There's a lot of, like a friend of mine who financed a VW bus with UBI, who financed his friends that have had periods of shamanic apprenticeship, 2 months in the Amazon, in Brazil with UBI. There's a lot of good examples. All it takes is asking.
Are then the people who get the Neco, are they then automatically members?
Yeah, they have to. Everyone has to be registered, and everyone who's registered is a member. We cannot transmit money to anyone who's not known. We have to know the person.
So it doesn't make sense to pay very little amounts with Neco, because the numbers would go up too quickly. Members.
Think of
we're not public now.
It still is some effort. Every transaction in ours is a bit of a manual process. So we have to check every transaction for compliance reasons. And so small amounts is not what we recommend. But things like, we have a lot of people paying rent. We have a lot of people paying courses, classes, and even things like cars with Neco. So it really just requires you to ask. Right now, it's mostly from paying individuals. Companies can also sign up. We have a few companies registered, but usually we're still targeting individuals. But it works.
I would like to pay my yearly, what is it called, yearly license for top tier impact, or for Buddhist Initiative Impact Investing in Neco.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Perfect. Ask Collexa. She will be ask Collexa to accept it. Yeah, then I don't have to do that job. I'm trying to do this too. I tried to ask, but so far, answer is no. But if you do that, one more voice.
We have some brilliant people in the Bundesinitiative, for example, from Fairy Trust. You know Fairy Trust?
No.
Or from Commerz Real. They have a budget of 11 billion in impact investing.
Yeah. But as I said, also we're still small scale, so we don't want to take it too big right now before everything is settled and the legal stuff.
Yes, of course. But
yes,
but the head of such a group could pay privately a little bit.
Good. All right. I'm gonna switch back to my slide if you don't mind, Günther, because there's a few more things I want to mention, and we have only oops, officially 10 minutes to go. So I'd like to ask you guys what you think. I would like to open a Neco community group where we can communicate and chat. And usually there's always this question, WhatsApp or Telegram. So I'd like to ask you what you think. You can just use our chat and write in your preference. WhatsApp just recently released a new feature called WhatsApp Communities, which makes community handling a bit better and easier. Telegram is more used in the crypto space. I personally find, I don't say my opinion. I want you to just give me your opinion. But I would like to set one of these groups up where we can communicate and share ideas and share thoughts. To
be honest,
the communication.
I'm in some WhatsApp groups from Catalyst 2030, for example, for Axum Africa. But these groups are too big. And there are so many tickets in that I stop looking into it. I would like more a group in LinkedIn, for example, a closed group in LinkedIn. Or I think the tool of International Forum for Nachhaltigkeit, for sustainability, is also offering closed groups. This could be helpful. It looks pretty like a combination of many tools like WhatsApp, Telegram, Slack, and LinkedIn, and so on. It integrates all of these different functions.
Yeah. Okay. Just type it in chat, Günther, and then we will decide based on the collective majority. Good. So that's coming soon, Neco Community. I have a few more investment tips that I want to share. It's always the same. It's like, guys, you're seeing it in the world. We are experiencing the collapse of the financial system. This is something that is happening now, and over the next years, it will get worse. You always see our inflation rates are on record levels, over 10%. That's the highest since the 1970s, I guess. So the highest inflation rates I've ever seen in my life. So if you want to make sure your money doesn't inflate away, Neco is a good way to make sure it's safe. We are a currency that generates profits, that increases in value. We've had no inflation over the last years, because our profit exceeds the price inflation. So it's a really good chance to save your savings. Personally, what I've done over the last 2 years, I have almost no more fiat money on my bank accounts. Everything is in Neco. And I only take out the amount of money that I need for the next 1 or 2 months to pay my, the things I cannot pay with Neco. And this is my recommendation to you guys from my own experience. This is what has really worked for me. And last but not least, you probably have come across this, HODL. It means hold in the crypto world. Hold your tokens, don't sell them. As long as you can hold them, unless you need your money, the longer you hold them, the more profit you make. And when you hold them, it allows our reserve to increase or to remain, it allows our reserve to go up, and that supports our project. Okay, so take out the money when you need it, of course. When you need it, take it out. But unless you need it, I recommend you just leave them sitting on your Neco bank account. Consider Neco like a savings account. All right, another thing, we have provided annual statements in your Neco folder. So look into your Neco folder. There is a new statement that starts with 2022, 12, and then there's a Y in it. And that is the statement for the entire year. Why is that so interesting? Because there's a profit calculation for the entire year. So you see how much profit you have made. Yeah, this might be interesting for you to see, but also could be relevant for taxing. Just you guys know, Germany, our German community, you don't have to worry about tax as long as you hold your Neco tokens for more than 12 months. Another reason to hold, because if you hold them for more than 12 months, there is no tax on the profits. Other countries are different. I don't know exactly what other countries are like. You have to ask your tax advisors. We are not in a position to give you tax advice, but usually the longer you hold it, the better you are in terms of taxation. Yes,
is it true for both Neco and UBI? Is this the case for the Neco coin as well as the universal basic income?
Yeah, so universal basic income is also Neco. It's the same token.
It's also Neco.
Yes, but the government takes pretty much the same. Germany, again, here is quite tax efficient. It's really surprising, but they do not, in Germany, you do not have to pay taxes on universal basic income. It doesn't fall under the income tax. Well, that's Germany only again. So German users really have an advantage right now. Reason being that UBI is unconditional, so you don't have to work for it. That means it's not considered income. And it's not taxed. I tested it with myself. I received 1 month of universal basic income, and I submitted the tax filings and told the financial authorities that there was universal basic income, and they accepted, and I didn't have to pay tax on it. So yeah, really comfortable really good for our German users. All right, another thing, you have 2 stacks. You have 2 bank accounts. If you receive UBI, you have a separate stack, a separate bank account. So you will always have 2 statements. One is Neco, one is universal basic income. On your universal basic income statement, it says in bold letters, and at the top, it says universal basic income. So please don't mix them up. The profit calculation is on both. So your total profit, you have to unfortunately open both statements and add them together. And then you know the total profit, because even UBI generates profit whenever the price increases. Karma level. Karma level. So every year we increase the karma levels. We have these 10 karma levels from 1 to 10, and they depend on the number of tokens. And as people are collecting more and more tokens, the karma levels increase every year. The requirements to reach the next karma level increase a little bit. So keep people motivated to do more and earn more karma. So this is going to happen. So you will maybe see, if you haven't earned any karma in the last year, you might actually drop in your karma level a little bit as the requirements go up. So keep that in mind. A good way to increase your karma is to pay your carbon-free tax. And the carbon-free tax is a voluntary carbon offset. So we ask you to take responsibility for your own carbon footprint and pay for it. So it's a donation, it's tax deductible, so it's deducted from your tax returns. And it helps us to fund the projects for reforestation.
How can we pay for the carbon-free tax? Can we do we need to use fiat currency, Neco, or universal basic income?
You can only pay your free tax in fiat.
Okay.
You cannot use your UBI, and you make a transfer the same way as you buy Neco tokens, just a different bank account. It goes to our non-profit association in Germany, Neco Finance EV. All details are written on our Neco quick guide. You'll find it on the website. We have free tax rates that are predefined. So, for example, vegetarian currently 150 euros per year, standard is 200, frequent flyer 300. Or you can calculate your carbon footprint and multiply the amount of tons of carbon emitted by the number of 20, which is the current price. However,
I remember I bought a carbon-free tax for 2022 already last year. Do we have to pay carbon-free tax for this year, in this year or next year, or how does it work?
So you always pay your carbon-free tax for the previous year, because you only know the amount of carbon.
So I paid last year for 21. Okay.
Yeah. So nobody has paid carbon-free tax for 2022. It's only paid for 2021.
Okay.
And the amount of people who have really paid the carbon-free tax is a bit low. It's I can count this. It's like 20 people. That's not that much. Unfortunately, in our community, paying carbon-free tax for me is also a sign of integrity. A lot of people say, "Oh, we want to do something for climate change," Well, start with yourself. That's how I see it. It really is people showing integrity, keeping up to the values, keeping the word. It's a good sign. And on the long term, you're going to profit from that, because karma tokens, as it accumulates, provides a constant source of potential income until your age, until you get old, like a pension. So it's a good investment, and it helps us to fund projects. We have Wolfgang here on the call. Wolfgang is one of the managing directors of our partner for Ventures Worldwide. They are our partner for carbon offsetting. So they're planting trees in Uganda and in Indonesia. And so a lot of our money is used to finance them and their costs. So this really helps us to improve, to help with climate change. Okay. So important to understand is that just put you on mute, Günther. Sorry. Just if you want to speak, you can speak up. We're gonna, in this Collexa referendum, we are updating the carbon price. So the carbon price is another parameter of our system that is regulated by Collexa. So we collectively manage this parameter. It has been around 20 euros per ton of carbon for the last 4 or 5 years. And now it's time to update the price because we've had inflation, the costs have gone up. Recommendation from our side is 30 euros. That's roughly what we see right now is, a good value in the market. The key thing for you to understand is when we increase the carbon price, that means our carbon free tax rates for 2022 will be increased in the same way. So if you increase the carbon price from 20 to 25 euros per ton, then our free tax rates will go up by 50%, no, 25%. Anyway, it's still carbon free tax. It's a donation, guys. So you don't, if you don't have the money, you can also just pay 100. It's fine. Anything helps. You still earn a karma token, even if you pay only 100 euros. So the good thing about a free tax is it is voluntary and it allows people to donate as much as they can. So it's not a normal tax where, poor people are taxed more. It's really give what you can, try to be honest. So for example, I always calculate my carbon footprint. It has gone down recently to only 20 tons a year. It's still more than the average, I know, and my nomadic lifestyle is not the best for the planet. But I'm paying for this. So I'm paying my 400, 500 euros every year to offset my carbon footprint. Yeah. All right. These are all the topics from my side. Then I want to open up discussion again. We're already 5 minutes past time, but it's fine. We can still answer a few more questions. So if you have questions, please unmute yourself. No more questions? Günther, you want to say something? Okay,
Just one question to Maciek. What is your full name so that way you can connect on LinkedIn?
My full name?
What? You're Maciek. I can only see your first name. Or is it your microphone is off.
Günther, please use the chat feature. This is a video that's recorded and will be published on YouTube. So sorry. We don't want to share, yeah? Please use the chat feature. Okay, any other questions? All right.
Second.
Günther, you still have a question? One more?
No, I sent just my LinkedIn link.
Good, perfect. All right, so I think then let's close off our Neco Community Conference. Thank you everyone for attending. We made it in 1 hour, very good timing. So the next community conference will be in 3 months after the next quarter. As said, I invite everyone to vote in our Collexa referendum. The more people that vote, the better the collective intelligence, the better the collective decision. Also, you can still buy Neco tokens for the old price of 82 cents until the 14th of January, and it will go up on the 15th, depending on the results of the referendum. And with these words, I would like to close and wish you all a happy and successful New Year 2023. Hope to see you soon. I'm really looking forward to opening our Neco community chat on WhatsApp, Telegram, LinkedIn, or whatever, so we can stay in even closer contact and people can communicate amongst each other, because I really feel that, you know, we have a good community right now where there's a lot of things to share. And I hope this can really help exchanging services, allowing people to, you know, provide, send ideas. I'm always really happy to receive feedback, by the way. So I encourage you to give me feedback at any time, either by email, by WhatsApp, because we write these things down. We try to make things possible as good as we can. And feedback really helps us to grow.
Thank you.
And with these words, thank you, everyone, and talk to you very soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.